One division, two title fights. UFC 316 is a dream for bantamweight lovers as women's champ Julianna Pena takes on her scariest challenge in Kayla Harrison, while men's title holder Merab Dvalishvili looks to double Sean O'Malley's problems after having beaten him already. Who will come out on top when the lights shine bright? Let's break down these fights and more to get an answer. Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. We'll kick things off with the biggest non-title fight on the card, which features rising star Joe Pyfer and sturdy veteran Kelvin Gastelum taking each other head-on. Kelvin Gastelum says he's done bouncing between weight classes and he's sticking with middleweight for now. At 33 years old, he's trying to make a strong comeback, but let's be honest, Gastelum's prime is behind him and he really needs a miracle to jump back into title contention since competition up top in the UFC 185-pound division is insanely tough. When we think of Gastelum's peak, we think back to his war with Israel Adesanya. That version of Kelvin hasn't shown up in a while, so it's tough to see how he'll take out a 28-year-old Joe Pyfer who's coming into his prime and is seriously motivated. Pyfer has been vocal, saying he wants to knock out Kelvin and prove a point, not just win. He wants to make a statement, and he's got the height, reach, and power advantage to do so. Pyfer is 4 inches longer in reach and 5 inches taller, and he's shown solid finishing skills. The guy has 7 first-round finishes in 13 wins. Kelvin's been known for his toughness. He's never been knocked out in 28 pro fights, and he's always down to scrap. But this time, it feels like that legendary durability might get tested because Pyfer hits extremely hard, and he can do it standing or on the ground. Body Bags wants to be the first guy to knock Kelvin out and improve to 10 career knockouts in 15-odd fights, and if he manages to pull that off, it will be a massive statement in itself. Pyfer does have weaknesses, including cardio that isn't very high level, so if Kelvin can survive early, he might be able to drag Pyfer into deep waters and turn the tide. That's the one area where Gastelum might still have the edge as he's gritty and experienced, and he's fought 5-round wars before. The question is, will he get that far? Pyfer does have a decent submission and ground game, and Gastelum has been submitted multiple times, so that's one possible outcome too. But whether it's on the feet or the mat, most signs point to Pyfer getting the win here. It's a good old-school rising star versus old warhorse matchup, and we all know what mostly happens in such scenarios. All in all, Pyfer is the rightful favorite here, and this feels like his fight to lose. The safest bet might just be that it doesn't go the distance. Julianna Pena versus Kayla Harrison. That brings us to the co-main event between UFC Women's Bantamweight champion Julianna Pena and the scary 2-time Olympic gold medalist judoka Kayla Harrison. Honestly, it's a pretty decent matchup. It might not be the most exciting fight ever, but it's still solid given the state of the UFC's women's bantamweight division, which is quite frankly woeful. Kayla Harrison is fairly new to the UFC with just 2 fights under her belt, but she brings a lot of hype given her Olympic triumphs and her success in the PFL. That's why she's already ranked number 2 with just 2 UFC wins and is now getting a title shot, which seems a bit early, but she's got the background to back it up. Julianna Pena, on the other hand, has been around the UFC for as long as one can remember. She's the current bantamweight champion and just won the belt. She's tough, always brings pressure, and has a strong ground game. Her striking, though, isn't the best. Kayla Harrison is known for her strength and aggressive pace, and that alone will make this fight more entertaining than people expect. Harrison is physically dominant and extremely strong and powerful for the weight class. She's essentially a lightweight, fighting at bantamweight, and that's why I wouldn't be surprised if she outmuscles and finishes Pena. I don't see her submitting Pena, however, because Pena's grappling is solid, but I can definitely see her getting a knockout. But then again, Pena has a granite chin that took Amanda Nunes' best punches like they were kisses. To be fair, if Pena pulls off the win, that would be huge for her career and legacy. She might even start entering the conversation for the greatest female fighters ever. But I just don't see it happening here. I believe Kayla will control the fight early, keep up a strong pace, and eventually wear Pena down. This fight probably won't go the full 5 rounds. Either Pena catches Kayla with a late submission, or Kayla finishes Pena with strikes. I'm leaning toward Harrison as she just seems more physically overwhelming and has the tools to break Pena down. It's not the biggest fight ever, but it's a solid co-main event. We'll just have to see if Harrison can handle the full 5 rounds or if Pena surprises everyone again. Either way, it should be a good scrap. Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. Now let's talk about the main event between UFC bantamweight king Merab Dvalishvili and the man he beat to win the belt, Sean O'Malley. The fight has raised eyebrows because Merab just defended his title against Umar Nurmagomedov and beat O'Malley in their first fight. So why did the UFC book a rematch, especially with O'Malley not having fought since his first loss to Dvalishvili at UFC 306? Many fans think the fight makes no sense. It's terrible matchmaking, and many really don't understand why the UFC is doing it. Merab could have faced someone new, maybe even moved up to featherweight. Many even think he could have fought Petr Yan again or given an up-and-comer a shot. But honestly, there was no clear-cut contender at bantamweight a couple of months ago. Corey Sandhagen was one, but he scored a title shot winning fight against Davison Figueiredo only after Merab vs. O'Malley was announced. Merab had already beaten Umar and Petr Yan, and Song Yadong hadn't earned it. O'Malley was perhaps the only reasonable option available at the time, and the UFC went ahead with it. The fact that Merab took the fight says a lot about the man too. He's an absolute beast, and yes, there must have been a lot of money involved, but taking a fight against a man he already comprehensively beat means he's willing to fight anyone, anywhere, and anytime. That's a true gangster right there. Merab looked amazing against Umar in his recent win. It was a huge win against the previously undefeated Dagestani, who was expected to blow the Georgian away. Now that the UFC has given him what should be an easier fight in O'Malley, it feels like a step back, not forward. But again, no clear-cut contenders at bantamweight. As far as how the fight goes, I'm picking Merab to win again and fairly easily. I think it'll be another clear decision win, maybe even a 50-45 shutout. O'Malley's had a long layoff, and I don't think he's coming back sharp enough to handle Merab's insane cardio, pressure, and much improved striking. In their first fight, Merab put on an insane amount of pressure on O'Malley. He put him on the back foot and out-wrestled him. The Georgian even had his moments in the boxing range. The only scare came in the 5th round when O'Malley's push kick to the body hurt him really badly. That could be key in their second bout, kicks to the body. If O'Malley can sneak in a few liver kicks, that could make things very interesting. But will O'Malley take the risk of using kicks against a wrestling ace? I think that's a risk worth taking because unless he bursts out of his comfort zone, O'Malley won't be able to deal with Merab's wrestling, pressure, and conditioning. Merab is an absolute machine, and I think he wins again, and it'll probably be the exact same fight as last time. But of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the fight as well. Who do you think will win the main and co-main events at UFC 316? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.